I'm Lisa Bailey.
And I'm Patrick Bailey with iqless.com. Today is September 2nd, 2016, and this is episode 2. So, what are we studying? Since last time, which is our first time, which is since we've just started homeschooling?
So we're now on week number 3. So we've done 3 full weeks. This is Friday of the last of the 3rd week. The first 2 weeks was just an introduction. I'm following the My Father's World curriculum. So the first 2 weeks were an introduction, going through the schedule, helping the kids find things, where they can go, what do they do here. So now in the 3rd week, for geography, we started to study North America, and this week we focus more on the United States. For science, we're focusing on the different biomes, and for this week we're focusing on forests. Let's see here. In math, my kids are trucking right through the Singapore math. Corbin's doing about 5 to 6 lessons a day.
And what would he normally do? Like if he was on track? 'Cause he's catching up, right?
Yeah, he's catching up. We're trying to get him back onto grade level, filling in some of the holes that he missed in his learning previously. So I'm not sure what grade level he's on right now in Saxon Math because they don't specifically tell you a grade. But we're on, where are we on? Book 3? Which is probably around a 4th grade level.
So he's trucking along. So
you should do 1 lesson a day. He's doing about 5 to 6 a day.
Good.
So we're doing about a book, and there's 2 books per year.
Okay.
We're doing about a book a month at this pace. So hopefully we'll have him caught up here pretty quick. Kendall is also doing Singapore math. You know, she should be doing 1 lesson a day. We're doing about 4. Because I found out a lot of this she already knows, and it's a review. So we're just refreshing her memory of what math was all about. Let's see here. They're each working on cursive. Kendall just started capital letters. She's going to start capital letters next week. Corbin's almost done with lowercase letters. They're doing English, which is more grammar and editing.
But along those lines, we went back on Corbin on English, or what was it?
We did. So Corbin and I were getting really frustrated with his English. We weren't quite understanding the lingo that they were trying to use to describe, for example, verbs. We had worked an entire week on verbs. The 3 types of verbs: action verb, helping verb, and linking verb. Action verbs, easy. Helping and linking verbs, not so easy. And, since this book that we were in probably assumes that you've already had about 3 to 4 years of repetitious teaching of linking, helping, and action verbs, they assume that you probably know those already. Corbin wasn't quite so there, and we both got really frustrated with that. And so after a heated argument,
Which was fun.
We decided that we were going to take that nice book and put it in the closet for now. And I looked up on My Father's World. So at the 7th grade level, we took that book and put it in the closet. So I, on My Father's World, looked at what the curriculum for the 5th grade level English is and the 6th grade level English is. And we both looked at it and we figured out that's a good spot to start. And it's the same book. You just start in the book at a different place. So I think in...
So we've just gone back like 1 year.
1 to 2 years.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the book is separated into 3 sections, and I think each section is considered a grade. And I think Corbin and I are going to start in the 3rd section. We're going to start that next week.
See, I could have used that when I was his age, because I remember, well, I was a little bit older, I guess in 8th grade. I barely got through 8th grade English just because they had, the only way I survived 8th grade English is they actually had, I want to say archaeology, no, mythology. They had a section on mythology. And I could memorize all that stuff, and I liked it, but adverbs and adjectives and diagramming sentences.
You just have to you just have to know that there's a purpose to all this, that if you have a complete sentence, they want you to be able to tell what each word is. So that's it, Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Is it an adverb? Is it a linking verb? Is it a helping verb? Is it an action verb? Is it direct object? Is it a preposition? So they just want to know that you can tell which word belongs where. So that's kind of how I've described it with Corbin. And of course, he and I both kind of look at each other like, why do we need to know this? You just do. And you're retaught the same thing year after year after year until you absolutely know it. And then you go off into the big world and you forget.
Even I admit, it's important.
It's important.
And I stink at those things, or used to. But now, had I done better at those things, there's things that would help me. Would be better.
You'd be a better writer.
I'd be a better writer.
I wouldn't have to edit your stuff so much.
Yeah, I should edit my thesis for my master's a lot.
So we're going to go back. I'm not sure which grade level it's at. The latest it is 5th grade. So we're going to go back and we're just going to, once again, just like with math, fill in a few of his holes in his learning when it comes to English, where there's grammar. And he has a separate editing book. So he does 2 things for English. He does, learn what a noun is, learn what a verb is, a pronoun, all those things. And he also has, in the English section, he also needs to complete an editing, how to fix some sentences, where does an apostrophe go, where does the comma go, and things like that.
Okay.
So I think that's it.
So that's what we're studying right now. So, okay, what have we bought since last time? So this is a lesson in budgeting, which if you're a couple and you budget, sometimes you don't communicate exactly perfectly. And also sometimes you just miss a little bit. But we get things done. But one thing I just didn't think about, since we are homeschooling, but we are also going to 1 day a week school. So on Mondays, they actually go to a school that is for homeschool, which sounds kind of funny. It's a supplement. It's really good, and the district does a good job. And so far they're liking that. But as a result of that, they needed generic back-to-school stuff. And so every year, Lisa sets aside money from her our normal budget. We'll do a weekly budget for food and miscellaneous. And so she'll set aside money the whole year, or the whole summer, I guess. I just don't see that. And then she'll have a couple $100 squirreled away. And then she'll go spend that on backpacks and pencils and
school supplies,
all that stuff. And so I didn't think about that, but she had squirreled that away. And that's perfectly fine, but it should be included in our budget. So I told her we're going to include it in our budget. So we put it in the budget. I gave her her money back that she squirreled away so she can use it for something else. And so that everyone knows what we're doing. So I did that. And then also as a result of that, now that I've thought through a little more, we've upped our budget. We were $200 a month. We thought that might have been okay. I upped it to $300. So because we took some swim lessons and different things, we're going to do $300 a month, $200 for manipulatives, and then $100 to put away for the books for next year. So that's what we're doing now. Plus I had to put some supplement in here, $450, as you see. So another supplement to cover all those back to school stuff and a few things that we had to buy, like swim lessons that we didn't think about. And so anyway, budgets change, people miscommunicate, and we fixed it and we're good. So what have we bought this time? So the first thing we bought back to school stuff. There's backpacks, some lunch boxes. There's some generic homeschool supplies that we spent a couple $100 on, I guess. That's just a bunch of pens and pencils.
But those are supposed to last. You're supposed to use those the whole year.
Yeah, and they're using that for homeschool too. Just, I don't see these numbers. They're like $200, and most moms are going, "Yeah, $200. Are you an idiot?" Yeah, so I'm sure that's reasonable. And some of this also we didn't count before. I put on here, like she bought some shelves and some stuff to put downstairs to organize her spot. So I made her put it on here. Also, since we're doing My Father's World, they're doing some Bible study. And then I realized we have a bunch of kiddie Bibles for the kids. We don't have a real Bible. So we went out and looked, and okay. So we kind of bought them a Bible this year that's like a real Bible. And it's got all the cool maps and stuff.
And it was expensive.
Yeah, it was $100. I was going to get him each one, but I went, and it was kind of a big Bible, too. It's
a thick Bible.
But it's got all them cool maps.
It's got, it's pictures and footnotes and all the information.
Yeah, so we bought that to share, and later on, we'll go get them their own Bibles that are normal sized, but they needed that for that, so we spent that money. That was $100. Also, they've been swimming a lot, which has been fun, so they got a punch card, and then now also we spent money on swim lessons. They're going to swim lessons once a week, right?
Twice a week. Okay.
And so they're doing real good in that. Also, we found out, I always shop around and look around, so I think they're going to swim a lot, and so we found out the monthly deals around here for, the local municipality, I guess. And so the deal is pretty good. So I think it's going to come down to, what did I say, $33 or $40 a month?
$40.
$40 a month.
For me and the 2 kids.
Yeah, unlimited passes for the month. And so that's kind of a relief to them. It's just down the street. So we're going to spend that, $40 a month.
And it's indoor, so it could be snowing outside and we're fine.
It's a really cool pool. So they'll have fun. So that's going to be coming up in our next month. We'll have to put that's another reason why I upped the budget, because now we got to spend things for that. So I think also long term, I'm probably going to up this budget to $400 at some point when we actually start doing 6 months from now. We start doing real extra lessons, like a piano or violin or something. That's going to cost some money. So I can see $300 a month is probably reasonable until we start for swim lessons and going to the pool. But we're going to have to add more to that once we actually start paying someone else to do some advanced lessons. Okay. And there's your English book. So she had to go buy the precursor books in My Father's World.
I bought some intermediate English and writing books. And these are in My Father's World, and my daughter will eventually use these books. So I would have had to buy them eventually anyway, so it's not a waste of money.
Also, you went to the bird sanctuary, which cost $7.
Well,
no, you paid for it before.
I bought tickets, the month
there it
before.
Is. Month before we paid $10.
I bought tickets, and then I had to pay for parking.
Okay. Yeah, see, I'm trying to keep track of everything. And it was pretty cool, because you had to go, you said bird tagging. I don't know what I had in my mind.
Bird banding.
Bird banding. You said bird banding. I thought they were like putting band-aids on birds. I thought they were
rubber band.
I thought they were nursing birds back to health.
Oh.
Well, they're putting the little bird tags on their legs. And they're catching birds and putting the tags on them so they can,
It was cool.
I'm an idiot.
It was really cool.
But the kids had a lot of fun. So that was our
field trip.
That was your first field trip?
Yep.
That was your first field trip. Let's see. Swim lessons and worms. I thought that was funny. She had a lesson that was going to teach about worms and what things do in the ecosystem, I guess, and everything has its job to do. Niche.
They were learning the word niche and how everybody, every person, every animal, every organism has a niche in their habitat, including worms.
I haven't fished in 20 years. I used to fish a little bit when I was in Idaho, but I haven't fished much. I haven't fished in 20 years. So I didn't know. I'm like, where do you get worms? I'm like, I don't know. Let's go to the Bass Pro Shop or something. So she called around and we couldn't find worms anywhere. Or if we did, they were out.
They were out because
there's a run on worms.
Well, because here in our neighborhood, all of our sporting goods stores are going out of business.
Oh, yeah, because we've got the Sports Authority.
Sports Authority is going out, and Gander is going out, and so we have a Dick's Sporting Goods here, and so I would call them and they'd be like, we're sold out. Because
everyone keeps a run. So we've had to go all the way to Bass Pro Shop, which is not super far away.
But then I found out there's a bait and tackle right down the road in one of the strip malls.
Oh, there is?
So.
Well, now we know.
Now we know.
So we spent $13 on worms.
We had to get some worms.
We got too many worms. We got a big pot, yeah. But it was cool because then she had this little jar and I guess I didn't think about this, but
you layered
the dirt and so you had like a line of
sand,
dirt so you could see
then dirt, and then oatmeal for food. Yeah. And then you put the worms on top.
And then they would mix the whole thing.
And the niche of a worm is to till soil.
Yep.
So And it showed that.
So that was a cool thing. So that's what we spent money on this month. So the coolest thing I thought were worms.
We eventually let them go. They're in the garden.
They're in the garden doing their wormy business. So. But that's what we spent our money on. So worms were cool. Getting our budget readjusted from misunderstanding of money. Now we understand because we want to keep track of it all so we can actually show this is what we really spent. Not the, oh yeah, I forgot the $400 I spent on a laptop that we didn't count or something. That was specific for school or something.
And, just to remind you, this is the first year we're doing this because, you don't need to spend this much money. We're kind of doing it because it's the first year and we want the kids to have a good attitude and we want to show them that, this is a serious thing that we're thinking and we take it serious. And so, I haven't bought my kids new backpacks in 3 years.
Yeah, we didn't need new backpacks.
They've always had the same old backpack, but I thought this year would be a good year to have a nice new backpack for their school that they go to on Monday. So we kind of went above and beyond this year when it comes to school supplies. But that's not my norm for every year. I bet you in the public school, I probably spent, $60 on school supplies per kid. So 40 to 60 depends on the kid. So
this is not a miserly budget, but we got a little freedom to do a few things. But still, okay. I think normally it would be $300 to $400 a month. We've had to add all these extra things at the beginning, this $450 and this $620 and all that fun stuff to get things done. But that's just, we primed the pump a little bit, and we could have, if we were being, I want to say bare bones, if we were being bare bones at this point and we had borrowed books and went to the library, if we had been pretty strict, we could have spent probably less than $400. And we spent a lot more than that so far, but,
we're doing okay with it.
We're doing okay. The budget's on track. I think we're doing good. So that's what we spent this month. Since last time. Since
episode 1.
Since episode 1. Okay, what have we started?
We started spelling.
Spelling? With Kindle? With Corbin?
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
So in the My Father's World, they recommend Spelling Power. And it's a nice, pretty, thick book. And, in the first paragraph in there, they say, do not be overwhelmed by this book. So I'm glad they said that, because you look at it and you're wondering if you can do this. But you have to think this is the only spelling program they're going to need from about age 8 all the way up to the end of 12th grade. So we started our spelling program this week. They took 2 tests that show them exactly the placement that they need to go in, because this is at their own level, and these are the 5,000 most commonly used English words. We took a survey test on Wednesday, and we took the placement test on Thursday, and so I know exactly what level each child, Kendall and Corbin, what level of spelling words they're on. And on Tuesday, because they have Monday school, on Tuesday I'll start to give tests and we'll start to go through that procedure, which I'm kind of excited because it only lasts for 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
You test them for 5 minutes, you put a timer on, and you stop. So even if we get through 3 words after 5 minutes, which isn't going to happen, you stop. And then you grade those words. And then they have a process for them working with the words that they don't know. If they know the word, they're done with it. They don't have to look at it again, which is kind of nice. So we're going to start that process of the spelling power next week. I think that's about all that we started.
Okay, what have we stopped doing?
We stopped doing 7th grade English and writing.
Okay, yeah. I guess I'm glad I ended this section because okay.
We stopped doing that, and so they have a grade-specific English and writing program for 7th grade. It was way too difficult, and it made my son way too frustrated, so we stopped that, and we've gone back a year, maybe 2, and have started up in just the basics of English and writing.
So we're going to get a running start.
We're going to get a running start.
Okay, anything neat that has happened? Good, neat, special, positive.
I think my son is a natural swimmer.
Oh. Next Michael Phelps, right? No, I think he's good at it.
I think he's good at it.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had any training or any coaching, and he picked up on it pretty quick, and he might have a little sparkle in his eye with swimming. So it's kind of nice to see him liking that. So we'll go to free swim time, and instead of him going and jumping on the diving board and stuff, he'll go on the lap lanes and practice a few laps. Which is kind of cool.
Good.
That's neat.
Yeah. Well, he can't. I remember when I was his age, I went to take swimming lessons, and I remember I was so bad. My parents would encourage me, like, oh, yeah, you would have won if it was a endurance race. And you're like, yeah, if this had been 4 miles, I totally would.
No.
I was so...
They're trying to help you out, kind of.
But I think he's actually... Yeah,
I was a good swimmer, so...
I could swim, I just wasn't fast. But he seems to be... We'll see how that goes.
A neat thing. We went... the bird sanctuary was fun to see birds getting banned, and we had a field trip, and then we went and had lunch afterwards, which was kind of cool. And the kids had the rest of the day off. Although Kendall came home, because we talked in the car about how you can work on the work that's on your weekly plan at any time during the week. So you could work on Tuesdays, you could work on Thursday's work on Tuesday if you wanted to. And she's like, really?
It clicked.
And it clicked, and she came home, because we got home probably about 1 after that field trip, and she started to do her silent reading and her cursive, and so now today's Friday, and she got done with her work at 10 o'clock, because she did a lot of it yesterday and the day before. So that was kind of neat for her to see. Hopefully Corbin will catch on to that.
Well, I think he's like me. He knows, yeah, I could do it ahead of time.
Some people just aren't meant
but I'm
to
just
do that.
not gonna. So,
some people.
Yeah. Okay, so is that? I think that's enough for neat things.
Yeah.
Okay, what's been frustrating? I know one thing, but is there anything else aside from that one thing?
Probably the biggest frustrating thing is realizing that my daily responsibilities have doubled.
Mm-hmm.
So not only am I in charge of the household duties, I'm also now the teacher, the planner. So it got frustrating because, of course, in my head, I saw that nobody was really stepping up to help me with any of the household daily duties. So I voiced this to my husband after a couple days of silence. And just kind of wanting a little bit more help on the mundane. Don't need quite as much brain power to do. So hopefully that will pick up and I'll get some help.
We need to work through that because, I mean, I've never built a house, but they say when a couple builds a house, it's really frustrating. It could cause divorce and all that stuff. But doing this, you have a lot of added strain on you, and so it's just a lot more. And next year's gonna be different. I think you'll have it hand in hand. You'll know your routine. You've got things figured out. But in the meantime, all of a sudden your duty doubled, and my duty just stayed the same. I'm like, where? Now, if my duty had tripled, you'd be like, that's fine. That's fair. Then, yeah, but...
No, I wouldn't.
Well, maybe not. But,
no, I wouldn't.
I don't know. We've probably been bad about this, but I would say in the first month or two, as a couple, you probably need to get together and just go, sorry for whatever you've done, because there's a lot of frustration on my end, too, because she's busy, and so that gets frustrating for me. But
just because I'm trying to get all the daily duties done.
But yeah, just have some love and forgiveness for the first few months, right? Because there's a lot going on.
Well, and like I tell the kids, put the other person first and you second. And if you think of it like that, then my husband will try and help me out and fold laundry and put the dishes away and make the bed. Because that's one less thing that I don't have to do. Folding laundry takes, 15 minutes? that's 15 minutes I have to work on next week's plans. So, if you put the other person first and you second, it should work out okay. Hopefully.
And also, hey, as a man, we're not mind readers, so for all you women out there, your husband might not know what you're thinking. So if it makes a big difference in your world to go make the bed every morning, just say, honey, can you just make the bed every morning?
Yeah, but then you're like, watch, he's not going to make the bed.
Yeah, no,
and I'm going to get twice as frustrated.
Then you're like, we don't need to make the bed. It's fine. That's why I never made the bed in college. You're like, I'm going to sleep in it again. Why would I make it? That's stupid. We're stupid for making beds.
Yeah, and yet if I ask you, so do you expect me to make the bed every day? Your answer is yes.
No, yes. But it's not. It's okay. I'll admit it's nice. But yeah, I'll go. I guess I got to make the bed more. That's on me.
Just help. Right. Sometimes you have really busy days and, having somebody step in and help you out with the cooking and the cleaning and really does help. Because, when I was a teacher and I worked for 8 hours a day, I had 2 hours of planning. So I had designated time during days to plan. Where's my planning here?
Well, that's a good point to bring up now because I've seen you spend time planning.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on what system you're using, you're probably going to spend time planning. So, she's been spending time on the weekends and at night just planning. And maybe you need to tell me, hey, I'm planning, go get the kids out of my hair so I can plan for 2 hours because they're jumping around. And I should do that. But you have to spend some time planning, and that takes time.
It does.
So, anyway. Well, one more thing that's been frustrating, but I think we'll save that for our chat section.
Oh, okay.
So that's the normal stuff that's been frustrating you and me a little bit, but mostly you. So, okay, chatting, which is going to turn into frustration 2.0, I guess. So first of all, one big thing we didn't talk about, our frustrating thing that was frustrating, is, I guess we call it discipline, I guess. My son, like me, can be frustrated with work and assignments, and I get frustrated too. But his coping with it has been bad in the past, and now it's been bad too. And so he was just kind of throwing fits. So he'd get frustrated, get stuck on something, and throw a fit. And I don't know if we taught him it was okay to throw a fit, or if at school they did, or if it was a combination of the two. But at some point, we told him that it was okay to throw fits when you're frustrated. And I say that as a parent because, as a parent, you see those kids who want the candy in the candy aisle when they're 3 years old and they throw a fit. A 3-year-old throwing a fit, that happens. But if you don't stop them and nip it in the bud then they turn into 8-year-olds who throw a fit and 12-year-olds who throw a fit. Because if you feed into it and give into it, then they're just you've taught them that if I want my candy, I throw a fit.
Well, and I don't think he wants candy. He just wants to get out of doing work.
Yeah, he wants to get, so at some point, he would throw a fit, accomplish something in his mind.
I think habits were formed.
Yeah, that happens.
I guess I shouldn't put the blame, but I think in the public school, where he would essentially, in a middle school, upper elementary school way, throw a fit, and the teacher would just say, fine, don't do it. Don't do it. And I probably did that to some of my students also. They're dealing with a lot of students.
Yeah.
Just don't do it then. And so he's probably created a habit of that kind of behavior to get out of doing work.
Well, and also I don't want to blame the schools too bad because they're left in a state that if they knew we need to nip this in the bud, which means you may have to be mean to them for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not allowed to be mean to kids anymore. It's okay to be mean to kids, to teach them something, to get them over that hump. You don't go to show up to boot camp when you're 18 and expect that guy just to give you hugs and lollipops. I mean, he's there to discipline you, to teach you to be disciplined. And sometimes that may be being mean to you. So we need to nip this in the bud because, you were frustrated. You were almost getting close to tears last night about it. And you know what? If your wife's homeschooling, and she's not brought to tears in the first 2 months of homeschooling, you're probably not trying very hard. Something has to happen, right?
You must have wonderful children.
One perfect. Perfect. Our children are wonderful. And they're good. And so, we
just need to break some habits.
We need to break habits. So we sat
and
here.
We need to instill new working habits.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying
So we
to do.
might have to put the hammer down a couple times to break habits.
And Corbin's old enough. He's not 3 or 5 or 6. If he was 6, I might just say, treat him appropriate to age. But he's old enough where he understands what's going on, and he should. Mm-hmm. And so we set him down and told him exactly what was going on, exactly why we were frustrated, and said, we know you can do better than this. You've had bad habits. Do you agree that they're bad habits? And we gave the analogy of the kid in the candy store, and he understood that, yeah, this is, at his age level, he understood, I thought. Mm-hmm. And so today we told him about that. I said, hey, I said, you treated your mom poorly yesterday. So he went and took his PS4 away. Well, it's my PS4, but he plays it. So he took it away and said, hey, if you do a good job today, you'll get this back. But if you don't, then you're not going to get it back until you do a good job. But today, and I don't think we're done, but today went well. He understood, he went through it, and today was good. I'm not saying this is going to be the end, because it's a bad habit. And it might take a little time to break. So that's our chatting. That's our frustration. Anything else we need to chat about? As my daughter waves to me from the outside, trying to get my attention, going. She just snuck in the room. Now she's waving at us.
I don't think so. I think everything else is going well with the management and yeah.
Okay, so that.
We'll let you know how the breaking of the habit goes.
I think we'll break the habit by next time.
Give you some ideas if you're in the same situation.
Okay, so that is end of episode 2.
Can I come in?
You want to poke your head in and say hi? Poke your head in and say hi. You gotta come all the way over here where they can see you.
Hello.
Okay. Now it's the end of episode 2.